Hi everyone and welcome. Today I'm going to walk you through a couple of simple steps on how to make this DIY door hanger. This door hanger is a fun one because it kind of tells people where you are around your house or around your neighborhood or some of the activities that you may be busy doing during the day. You can hang this up on your door or you can hang it um, somewhere where your whole family can see. You can hang it over by the exit or the entrance door to your house. You can hang it inside of your living room, and this can be for yourself or you can make it for your family. This example that I have here is more so for myself, and some of the things that you will see that I have on here are at work. So if I'm at work, I may not be home. And if I'm not home and I'm on my way to work, what I would do is I would take my clothespin and I would stick it right over here at work. So that way when it's hanging on my door, which you can see it will be doing by holding on to my pipe cleaner, um, it'll stick on your door and it'll kind of just hang there. And as long as you're not moving it around too much and as long as people aren't touching it, you should be okay. Some of the other destinations that I have on my plate here are at the library, and I'll rotate it so that you can see it. And here you can see that I've drawn books and I've drawn bookshelves so that folks can know, hey, I'm at the library today. Or here I have out for a walk. Maybe one day I decide to go out for a walk with my friends, or maybe I decide that I'm going to go for a walk by myself and I'm going to put my clip here if I go out and I take a walk. The last section that I have on my paper plate, and I'm going to rotate it so that I can show you all, is here. Here is basically my room. So wherever you put your plate, if you decide to put the words here, meaning that I'm here and that you can come in and say hello, make sure that you write where here is. So on here, I have my name and then I put the words room after. So it would be Blank's room, Sandra's room, Sarah's room, wherever it is that the plate is, that is where here will be. So we're going to jump right into this. And the first thing that I'm going to do is sort of show you the materials that we will be using for this activity. And some of the things that we will be needing are a single paper plate, which I have here. My paper plate is a little glossy, so just be mindful of the kind of material of the plate that you're using. Consider whether or not you will be able to use markers, or if you will be able to use crayons or colored pencils on it without it smudging. The next thing that you will need is string or a pipe cleaner, and what you'll need that for is so that you can be able to um, hang up your plate once you are finished with it. So I'll flip mine over so that you can see, but I have two pieces of tape holding my pipe cleaner so that it can hang on my door without falling off, and the tape makes it very secure in the back. However, like I said here, you can have a string or you can have a pipe cleaner. Either one will work very well. And whether you put the tape or the pipe cleaner to use it to hang up your plate, it should be able to stick using simple tape. The next thing that I have are my coloring utensils, which are markers, crayons, or colored pencils. If you choose to use all of them, that is fine. If you choose to only use one, that is also okay. For my piece, I used a majority of markers, and I believe down here when I was doing the out for a walk is where I used my color pencils to draw on the tree. So you can use different materials, but like I said, I would pay a little bit of attention to what materials work well with whatever plate that you're going to be using. The next thing are tape. So tape, you can use any kind. For my purposes, I am just using this tape here. It does have a color to it. Your tape does not need to have a color. It can be clear, it can be yellow, it can be green. My tape is white, and that is okay. My tape is also pretty thin, so if you're using a thicker Scotch tape or whatever kind of tape you're using, be mindful of the thickness. You can always trim the tape to make it look smaller, but the tape is where I went in here and I made my sections. So be mindful of the thickness of the tape, but also keep in mind that you can also trim the tape if you need it so that it can be a little bit slimmer and fit a little bit more words and colors on your plate. The next thing that we are going to need are a ruler, which is optional. And what the ruler allows you to do is sort of make these lines so that you know where to place the tape. If you're pretty good at looking at the plate and being able to see where the tape should be able to go just by having like a mental image in your head, that's perfectly fine. Go for it. If you're like me and you're a little bit of a perfectionist, you might want to have your ruler there to assist you, but you do not need it at all. It is okay to try to do without it. The next thing that we're going to need are our scissors. I am using safety scissors that are really good for young people or folks with small hands because they're a little bit safer to use. I will be going through how to safely hold and use those scissors for those who may not necessarily be supervised, but I do recommend getting an adult or someone who's older if you need it to help you use the scissors in the most effective way, and I will show you how to do that once we get to that part. And lastly, you'll need some sort of clothespin. It can be wooden or plastic, or if you don't have a clothespin, you can use something like a piece of paper and create sort of like an arrow figure on it or something that'll just help you to identify which space you are at. So my clothespin here is being used to tell folks where I am. However, if this was a piece of paper that I've cut into the shape of an arrow, that's also perfectly fine. You can also substitute any of these materials for something that you think will work just as well. So now that we've gone through all of the materials, which I'll let you see again before I jump right into the video, we are going to begin by setting up our plate. So I have a couple here, so let me just make sure I'm only using one at a time. But yes, I am using one plate here. You can see it's a very regular size plate, not too fancy. This is a paper plate. It's a little bit glossy, so sometimes it can be difficult to use. However, I'm going to use my markers, which I have here in a bag, and I'm also going to use my color pencils. You can see I have a sharpener in here, but I do not think I'll be using it today. These are my assortment of colors. I don't have crayons, so it is okay if you do not have one of the coloring utensils on the list. That's perfectly fine. So I have my colors ready. I also have my ruler here ready to help me make a decision about where my tape should go. And another thing that I'd like to note before I go ahead and get started using the tape on the plate, because that's the first step that we're going to do, is that you do not just have to limit yourself to 4 sections of the plate. If you, say for example, if you're someone who's really busy and you have a lot of activities that you want to put on the plate, please go for it. Please feel free to make more tape lines so that you can add additional things to your plate, and so that people can kind of get a range of what it is that you do, or these activities should really be pertaining to your life and what you do. So if you go to the park a lot, maybe you might want to put down park. If you go for nature walks with your family, maybe you might want to put out for a nature walk. If you are going to say, for example, you're just going to a friend's house and you go to that friend's house a lot, maybe you can write out at so-and-so's house, whoever your friend is. So you can really customize this however you would like. And whatever you choose to do, I know for a fact that it'll come out great. So we're just going to jump right into it. The first thing that I'm going to do is take my tape. I will not be using my ruler. However, I'm kind of just going to visualize my plate here and pretend that there are 4 sections, just like I did with my other plate. So I'm going to take 2 pieces of tape. One is going to go the long way, and if it's the way that I'm pointing to it while looking at it on the screen, this is the vertical way, and this way will be horizontal. So if you think of a horizon, it goes left to right or right to left. And then vertical goes up and down. So the first thing that I'm going to do is take my tape. I'm not going to take too much. I want to be mindful of the length and the width of my plate. So I'm only going to try to take as much tape as I feel like I need for my plate. So I'm going to stop just about here. And notice how I'm going to stick this on to my surface so that it doesn't move around while I'm trying to pull it apart from the roll. And I'm just going to take my finger here and I'm going to gently just pull it off a little. And then once I finish doing that, I measured it a little bit in my brain. So I'm going to plop the tape right down here. And that was actually pretty perfect length of tape that I use, and you could see it here, just right across. It's okay if it doesn't go all the way down to the end. If your tape was a little bit longer and you had a little bit of excess, you can fold it right behind the plate here, and that's okay too. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take my second strip of tape. I'm going to pull it off, still making sure that I'm being mindful of the length of my plate, putting my tape down on my surface, giving it a nice gentle pull. And after the second piece, I am done with my tape for now. So I'm putting my tape off to the side. I'm picking this one up. I'm going to turn my plate so that I can see it and it looks pretty clear. Once again, I'm not going to use my ruler. I'm just using my eyes to sort of measure. And this is a perfect example because I have excess tape. If you have a little bit of extra tape, you can simply just fold it right underneath because folks won't see the back of your plate. So this is a good opportunity for you to use as much tape as you think you need. And you can see that my sections are not perfect, but they look just about right. There are 4 sections, and that's what I was really going for. So now that we have our tape down, the next thing that we're going to do is get ready to go in and make our sections on our plate with a marker. You can use a color pencil. Whatever it is that you choose is fine. I'm going to use my blue marker here. And the first thing that I will do is just go in here. You can see, and I'll sort of just do a little bit of outlining for you. I'm going to take my marker and I'm going to make sections here. So the plate already has indents in it, which is nice because it sort of helps guide us along the plate. But I'm just going to go around making sure that I'm not drawing over the tape, but going around the tape, and I'm going to start with my circle. So I'm going nice and slow. I'm taking my time. There's no rush. I skipped my tape here because I didn't want to go over it. I'm going around to my next one. So I have my second piece filled out. Now I'm moving on to my third. Once again, I'm not going on top of the tape. If you do, that is perfectly fine though. But I will make sure that I try to avoid it. And here you can see we're almost done. The next thing that we're going to do is move in closer to the tape, and we're also going to outline where the tape gives us our sections as well. So you can see I'm going nice and slow, careful not to mark up my tape. And you can see I'm making my little sections here, and this is where we will place our activities. While you are in the process of drawing out your lines, I recommend thinking a little bit about what you think you're going to put in these boxes in terms of the activities or the locations where you will be. For example, let's remember that on mine I put like library, out for a walk, at work, or here inside of the room. You can choose some of the ones that I did depending on what you do. But if you do other activities, I recommend putting those activities down. So here you can see that I have my tape on my plate. I used my tape to sort of guide me along these lines to make nice and neat lines so that I can put my activities. The next thing that I'm going to do is write in some of the activities that I would like to use for my plate. Just as a reminder, you are able to use more than just these 2 strips of tape to make your sections. If you like to make 8 sections, or if you like to make more, feel free to add another piece of tape going in this direction or in this direction, and that'll give you a couple more spaces. And the process of you doing it would be the exact same. Just be mindful not to go over the tape because it could get a little bit more tricky as you're trying to make your lines. However, for this video, I'm only doing my 4 sections. So the next thing that I'm going to do is go ahead and I'm going to switch up the colors that I'm using a little bit. I think I'm going to go for orange here. And I'm going to use my orange to write down the activities that I want to use to write on my plate. So I'm using my marker, and I think that I'm going to write something fun like sleeping. And if you need help spelling, or if you need help writing, please feel free to ask someone at home or wherever you are to give you assistance with that. If you run out of space, it's okay. You can see here that I did run out of a little bit of space, but I made my little dash, which allowed me to continue the word down at the bottom. It does not have to be perfect. And right now I'm just writing the names of the activities that I'm doing. My next one, I'm going to write at the park. For my next one, I'm probably going to write doing homework, because that is something that I do a lot. And I'm going to abbreviate homework by writing HW. And then for my last one, I'm going to write that I am at the library. So here I have my 4 activities that I've used to label my plate. You can see that I have at the park, I have doing homework, I have at the library, and I have sleeping. Now the fun part of this activity is getting ready to start, and that is simply going through each of these and drawing a very short picture, or another good word for it is a very brief picture, or something that symbolizes whatever it is that you wrote down here. So I'll give you an example. For sleeping, I am going to draw some Z's, because when I sleep, I'm catching some Z's. However, if you wanted to, you could draw a picture of you laying in your bedroom, or you can draw a picture of you sleeping, or you could just draw a picture of a bed. Whatever it is that kind of like explains or shows you sleeping or something related to sleep, feel free to put it down. This is our chance to sort of just draw out different things and show people a feel for the kind of people who we are artistically. So it's not very fancy, but you can see my Z's here. And they look pretty cool. I outlined them with light colors, so it may be difficult to see, but you can see a little bit of green here, and you can also see a pink that I used. And then for my at the park one, I think that I'm actually going to draw some swings. I think that'll be fun. So I'm going to go in with my color pencil, and I'm going to draw a picture of a swing set. And I'm not the best artist, but we try our best. So even if you're not super into drawing, this is a good time to try something new. So I have my swing set here, and I think maybe I will draw a couple of trees. I think that'll be fun. And also to consider this as well, if you don't have some of the colors that you would like to use, think of other colors that you can use that'll make it look really fun. So if you didn't have brown to make tree bark, maybe you'd want to use purple, or maybe you would want to use a dark blue. Whatever it is that you think you want to use for it, go for it. And here I'm just drawing my trees. Now I'm moving on to the bushes, and it doesn't have to be perfect. And I'm coloring them in. They look very nice. You can make this as detailed or as plain as you would like. I always say the more detailed the better because it's really fun. And here I have a picture of my park. So it was really simple. I just drew my swing set and I drew some trees, which is something that you would see at a park. The next thing I'm going to work on is the doing homework section. So I think for this one, I'll go ahead and do a more simple drawing. And for me, simple just looks like a book. This color's a little light, and I want you all to be able to see what I'm doing. So I'm going to take a darker color. And I have a purple, so I'm going to go in with my purple. Purple's also a little light, but I'm going to draw a little darker so that folks can see what I'm doing. So I'm drawing my book here, and I'm going to do my writing in brown so that it actually looks like a homework assignment. And maybe I'll draw a pencil to go along with it, because usually I'm using a pen or a pencil. So for my homework one, I went in and I just drew a book, and I also drew a pencil, which you can see here. My last one is going to be at the library, and I want to try to do something a little bit different because for school, or doing homework rather, I wrote or I drew a picture of a pencil, and I also drew a picture of a book. So for the library, maybe I'll draw the library building. So I'm going in and I'm taking my color pencil and I'm just doing a very rough sketch of the outside of the library building. So we have some stairs here, which lead us up to the entrance. And then I'm going to draw a doorway. And it doesn't have to be perfect. Definitely doesn't have to be. Take your time and figure out what it is that you would like to do for yours. And this is my library. It's not perfect, but this is kind of what my library building looks like outside of my neighborhood. So I went ahead and I drew that. And the next section of this is going to be us decorating the outside of the plate. So let's refer back to the sample that I made. You can see that they're pretty similar in design. Some of the things that we have not done yet are gone on the outside and use different colors. It doesn't have to be exactly like this. It can be something similar. But for the purposes of this video, I am not going to color the outside of mine. However, you can use mine as a reference point. So I sort of walked you through how it goes and what it looks like. The next step for us would basically be going around the edges and coloring it in whatever pattern we would like, which is what I did here. Attaching our clothespin so that we're showing folks where we are around our neighborhood or around our homes. And then once we finish that, just going on the back so I can show you this part because it does involve using the safety scissors and sort of cutting out these things, I believe. So say, for example, if you're using string, which is something I think I'm going to use just to show you as an example, we're getting ready to do the attachment process of this so that you can hang it on the door. You would turn it over just like this. It doesn't really matter where you place it as long as it's somewhere around the edge because as you can see, the plate rotates and it doesn't have to be in one specific section or space for you to see it once you hang it up. So I'm going to go ahead and tear off 2 small pieces of tape. Notice how I'm sort of taking my time, getting ready to pull off the tape. A small piece like this is okay. I'm ripping it off here, but I'm being very careful. I don't want to scratch my hands or pull too hard. I'm just taking 2 small pieces here, and I'm putting them on my surface so that I can use them. I have my string. You can also use a pipe cleaner. I have a pipe cleaner here, but because I use the pipe cleaner for this example, I just want to show you all how to attach the string. So my string is pretty unraveled, but I'm only going to need a small section of the string. So I'm getting ready to grab my safety scissors, and I just briefly want to show you how you should be going about grabbing them and being safe with the scissors. So the first thing that you want to do is take your hand that is less dominant, or the one that you don't use as much. For me, that's going to be my left hand. I'm going to pick up the scissors at the metal part here, and I'm going to hold it like this, so my hand is kind of like in the shape of a fist. I'm not flailing my scissors around. I'm not, trying to poke anybody in the eye. I'm not trying to do that. I'm very safe with them. By me holding them in my hands like this, I'm actually making it a lot less likely for any injuries to happen or for anyone to get hurt. So be mindful of that. Hold the scissors at the bottom so that they cannot fall out of your hand or fling somewhere. You do not want that to happen. So what I just showed you with the flinging of the scissors here, that's not what you want to do. You want to keep your scissors nice and low to the activity that you are doing. And you want to take your dominant hand, or the hand that you write with, and you want to put them here. The larger section of the scissors is where you can use 2 fingers, like this, and then the smaller one here is for your thumb. So you can take that and stick your thumb right in just like this. I've already measured my string, so all I'm going to do is take my string now and I'm going to cut it. I'm getting ready to move my left hand here off of my scissors, but notice how my hands now are being used to keep the scissors closed as I move my hand off of the bottom half of the scissors. So nice and slow, I'm moving it. I'm still keeping my scissors very low. My hands are not super close to the scissors, but I'm taking my string, and I'm only going to use a little bit of it, and I'm going to trim it right down here like this. It's a nice easy cut. Once I'm done, I'm grabbing it again with my hand that I don't use for cutting, and I'm setting them off to the side. Now I'm done with my scissors. I'm not going to need to use them again. So I'm going to move my string so that you all can see, but I have my string that I cut off here, and I'm just going to place it like this, so sort of like in a triangle way, or a half oval shape, just like this on the plate. And I'm going to go ahead and take my tape, and toward the end where my string is, I'm going to put down my tape, making sure that where the actual string is, it's being held down pretty well. And I'm going to do the same thing for my other side, just like this. It's okay if the string isn't even or if it's a little longer. Just tape your string down or your pipe cleaner accordingly. The pipe cleaner process is the same way. Now, I'm going to lift it up so that you can see it's pretty secure here. And when I turn it around, we sort of have a replica of the example that I did to show you all. This one was done with the pipe cleaner. This one was done with the string. They both look similar. Just as a reminder for this one, because it was another sample that I was doing live, I wanted to be able to show you all the difference between the two. And for my last finishing touch, I'm going to attach my clothespin here. Right now, the closest thing that I'm doing probably would be doing homework. So I'm going to put mine at doing homework. And I can attach this to my door whenever I'm ready. You can use a piece of tape to attach it if you just want to do it here at the top. You put it wherever you like, and you'll be all set. And this is our do-it-yourself door hangers, and these kind of just tell people where you are around the house. They're really fun. They're super easy to do. I hope that you enjoyed them, and feel free to make them at different points in the year when your activities change, or when you get into new things, or when you're exploring new things in life. These change all the time, so feel free to update them, create them. The materials list will be left down in the description, so please have a wonderful day. I hope you enjoy this activity, and we hope to have you back again here joining us on YouTube. So feel free to like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video, and look forward to more videos just like this one.